Disaster aboard the USS Constitution. Chapter 2.
Talking with the Admiral, I learned that the blue light had accomplished the same thing aboard the Confederation. He commented that something seemed to be preparing us for some future engagement. That thought had not occurred to me, but perhaps he was right. We both wondered what lay ahead. I told Joel, "Number 1, you have the con. I'm going to see how things are with my wife and son." When I entered my cabin, I did not find anyone I was looking for. I looked around the suite, and no one. Computer, locate my wife and son.
Lieutenant Commander Stevens, David Stevens Jr., and Virginia Lee Stevens are in sick bay.
I ran to sickbay to find my wife and son chatting with Dr. Mtao. All four were startled by my appearance. Stella asked,
"What are you doing here?"
Ginny was sleeping in her walker. Davy smiled.
Hi, Daddy.
Dr. Mtao jumped to attention.
Captain in sickbay.
I was a little embarrassed. I'd just come down to be with my family, and I found our cabin empty. When I asked the computer for your location, and it said you were here, I was scared something had happened to you. Davy pushed the walker, and I started for our cabin.
David,
Stella began.
would you go ask the doctor for a wheelchair? I'm very tired.
But I picked her up in my arms and told Davy to see that Ginny was okay and that I would carry her home. We went home, and I put her to bed, and Davy sat on a little stool I had made for us when his mom had gotten sick. As the evening progressed, I made dinner, and we sat around her bed and ate, talked, laughed, and, yes, we cried. After she drifted off, Davy and I practiced our martial arts while Ginny watched, then read one of his books. Davy scooted off to bathe and I put Ginny to bed. I tucked Davy in and sat by his side until he went to sleep. Reveille, 0500, and I got up. Stella still slept quietly as I showered, dressed, and got ready for the day. Set the alarm for Stella and the kids, no need for them to get up before 0900. As I stepped onto the bridge, the watch officer, Kyle Jorgensen, sang out,
"Captain on the bridge."
I replied, "Carry on." Kyle asked,
"How's your wife, sir?"
I forced a sad smile and replied, "She's still sleeping, and so are my kids." The young ensign at the helm said,
"How about you, Captain?"
I replied, "I'll tell you, Jerry, and all of you, we appreciate your love. But this hurts more than you could ever imagine. Thank you, all of you mean the world to us." A young, almost hysterical voice came over the comm.
Bridge, another light coming toward US.
I just nodded to Kyle, and he responded.
"Talk to me, Bess. What is it?"
The voice returned.
It's like the blue light, except this light is red.
Kyle asked.
"How long?"
She replied.
About shift change, sir.
I nodded to the communications officer. "Ship wide, please." Now hear this, this is the captain. About 0700, we will be engulfed by another colored glow, much like the blue light before, except the one coming is red. We do not know what effects this will have. Remember, we are a solid crew. We can face anything together. Stay alert outwardly and inwardly. Stevens out. I shrugged. Kyle, all we can do is our job and wait. Ask Bess to give us a countdown from, say, 10 minutes. Kyle nodded.
"Aye, aye, sir."
Bess's voice came over the comm.
10 minutes. 9 minutes. 8 minutes. 1 minute. 10 seconds. 9. 8. 3. 1.
The ship was engulfed by the red glow. I felt a jolt of adrenaline. It was the fight or flight reaction. I almost shouted, "Ship wide." Now hear this, this is the captain. It seems the red glow has caused fear to engulf us. Remember, it is not the fear that is harmful, it's what we do with that fear. As long as I have commanded the Constitution, we have never lost a crewman. If we stand by each other, nothing will defeat us. Captain out. Ensign Jerry Doyle asked.
"Captain, what do we do?"
David replied, "Concentrate on doing your job the best you can. We may come under attack, do your job." Then I noticed a couple of crewmen seemed anxious, I asked, and they were filled with anxiety topped off with a vague uneasiness. Shift change, and the day crew entered the bridge with trepidation. Joel Carson entered the bridge.
"All right, people, we do our job. We do our job. The fear must not hinder us. It must not paralyze us. We are crewmen of the USS Constitution, the Navy's fastest, most powerful ship.
The day shift had stopped to hear the first officer and straightened their shoulders and took their positions proudly. I smiled at Joel. Great speech, number 1. Alright, everyone, be alert and watch your buddies back. And as the first officer said, do your job. I checked in with Admiral Yellowtooth and found that the Confederation had experienced the same things as the Constitution. So I took the command chair and waited, and I didn't have to wait long. From out of nowhere, there appeared an Archon ship with shields up and weapons hot. Alright everyone, an Archon ship, I said, using my sergeant's major voice. We've blown these suckers out of space before, and we can do it again. We waited, and waited. Finally, the Archon ship passes us on by. And the red glow left us, and we were free of the fear and anxiety. I asked for ship-wide. Now hear this, this is the captain. The red glow has left us, and we are free from the fear and anxiety, but don't get complacent. Just because our emotions are not being played with at the moment, Murphy's Law says that this is when things go south the fastest. Do your job the best you know how, and we will get through this. Remember why we are going where we are going and why we are doing what we are doing, and remember who we are. As the first officer said, we are crewmen of the USS Constitution, the Navy's fastest, most powerful ship. We are the finest crew in the Navy. Captain out. Dr. Mtao asked to speak with me, and we went into the ready room. The doctor said,
Captain, your wife is failing fast. We need to speed up, or she will lose her battle with the cancer.
I called Admiral Yellowtooth. Sir, I need to speed up. I'm going straight to Angel Cloud 3. But I have to push my engines to the max. No matter what, we will be waiting at the end of this journey. He responded,
Go!
I ordered number 1, top speed. Fuel maximum. Push it to the max. Joel ordered.
Helm, you heard the captain push this ship to the max.
Barbara pushed the old ship at UL 18+, she reported.
Sir, Angel Cloud in 36 hours.
I told her, thank you, Helm. But then we were engulfed in a yellow glow. There came over me a euphoria I could not explain. Suddenly, it hit me, this was another test, lesson, experience, or distraction from our mission. I asked for ship-wide. Now hear this, this is the captain. We are under attack again, stay alert, do your job. Do not allow this feeling of euphoria distract you from your job and your loyalty to Stella Stevens, my wife, and your friend, and to this ship. That is all. There were some reports of off-duty crewmen getting a little rowdy, but no one was hurt, and everything returned to normal after we, again, experienced what seemed might be an attack from one of those spiral ships. Again, doing our jobs, we were not attacked, and the yellow glow left the ship. Shift change, and I went to my cabin to see Stella waiting at a table set for dinner, Davy and Ginny washed and waiting, and what was a delicious meal all prepared and ready to be eaten. She smiled.
We worked on this together.
Davy smiled.
Just for you, Daddy. Just for you.
Well, I replied, it smells good, it looks good, it has to be great if you guys did this, thank you. I asked what happened, and she said,
It was the euphoria. I had more energy even after the yellow glow left. I just had to do something I love to do, cook. This not from the replicator, I got it from the galley.
Stella looked at me, her husband, her captain.
David, what else could they throw at us?
I replied, blindness, for one thing. And a real threat we are unable to fight successfully. And I'm sure whatever is causing this just might be able to throw us so many things we can't even imagine right now. So after dinner, we did what we have done since Davy learned to walk. First, Davy and I practiced our martial arts, then Davy sat next to his mom on one side, and Ginny on her lap, and she read one of their books, Horton Hears a Who. Then family snuggles and bedtime. Stella was exhausted, so Davy and I put her and Ginny to bed, and then Davy bathed and crawled into bed. And I sat up a while before retiring for the night, too. It must have been about 3 a.m. when I was called by the bridge.
Captain, there's something coming at us again.
I replied, on my way. Yellow alert. Before I got to the personnel lift, I went blind.
Captain, we're all blind.
I said, everyone, sit straight at your position, reach out, and feel your controls. I heard the door open, so I stepped out. Kyle, I'm on the bridge. Where are you? He replied,
I'm on the right side of the center chair.
Then the alert klaxon horn sounded. I asked, Bess, what do we know? She replied,
Sir, I can't see the monitor.
I ordered. Computer, describe the sensor monitor.
A ship of unknown design approaching the Constitution at NL-10, shields up, weapons hot. Approaching 10 degrees relative.
I ordered. Red alert. Shields, weapons hot. Standby.
Torpedo fired.
Hard to port. I ordered. The ship lurched to port.
Miss.
Computer, launch torpedo, target that ship's engines. We felt the launch.
Ship's engines direct hit. Ship is disabled. Ship is no longer in the area.
Then the lights came on. I could only ask myself, what's next? I asked Kyle, how long before we reach Angel Cloud 3? He replied,
20 hours, sir.
I raised my voice, good work, people. I'm proud of each one of you and so thankful for you. This ship has the finest crew in the Navy. When we get through this, there will be a commendation for each and every one of this ship's crew. Kyle, I'm going back to my cabin until shift change. He replied,
Rest well, Captain.
Back in my cabin, Stella and the kids were still asleep. For that, I was thankful. I sat and closed my eyes. Then my son shook me.
Daddy, wake up. Time for breakfast. Wake up. Mommy's got pancakes for us.
Stella smiled.
Why were you up, dear?
Remember when you asked, what's next? And I said blindness? Well, that's just what happened. And the crew did their job to perfection and torpedoed the attacking ship. Again she asked,
What's next?
I don't know, sweetheart, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. 5 hours later, I was on the bridge, and Catherine called.
Captain, there is a green glow approaching our ship. Just like the blue glow.
How long before we're hit? I asked. She replied,
About half an hour, sir?
I asked her to give us a countdown from, say, 10 minutes. She replied,
Aye, sir.
Kate's voice came over the comm.
10 minutes. 9 minutes. 8 minutes. 1 minute. 10 seconds. 9. 8. 3. 1.
And we were again engulfed by a colored glow, this one green. But it was not the green cloud. We began to feel tired and sluggish, our bodies seemed to weigh a ton, and it took everything we had even to raise our arms. Joel barked.
Shipwide, please. Now hear this. This is the first officer. This is a tough one. Don't let it win. We are stronger than we realize. Just do your job as best you can. Don't give in to the fatigue. Never surrender, never give up.
This is the captain. Have pride in yourself and your shipmates. If you see a crewman flagging, give them your hand. Will your strength be their strength, like you have done for Commander Stevens? Stella came to the bridge.
I just wanted to be with you, my captain. I'm so tired, but I need to be with you.
Where are the kids? I asked. She said,
I asked Linda to take them to the childcare facility. The kids seem not to be affected.
Kate's voice came over the comm again.
Captain, we are being approached by an Archon ship, shields up, weapons hot, and L-10.
Red alert. Battle stations, on your toes. The Archon ship fired a salvo and we were hit numerous times. A voice sang out.
Shields down 60%, Captain.
Another salvo.
40%.
Lasers.
15%, Captain.
Stella jumped up and replaced helmsman steel. Stella sang out.
David! I'm going to hug the donkey.
For an hour and a quarter. Stella flew the ship around the Archon ship while weapons got the TT torpedoes launched. And the Archon ship disappeared in a firestorm. Finally, the fatigue abated, and she collapsed. No damage to our ship, like it never happened. I carried her back to our cabin, tucked her in, and asked the childcare facility to bring my kids to our cabin. Davy and I tended to her, fed her, and read her a Dr. Seuss book. For an hour and a quarter. Stella flew the ship around the Archon ship while weapons got the TT torpedoes launched. And the Archon ship disappeared in a firestorm. Finally, the fatigue abated, and she collapsed. No damage to our ship, like it never happened. I carried her back to our cabin, tucked her in, and asked the childcare facility to bring my kids to our cabin. Davy and I tended to her, fed her, and read her a Dr. Seuss book. Green Eggs and Ham. Davy had heard that story so many times, he had it memorized. We turned the pages, and he recited the story perfectly. Then Davy and I let her go to sleep as we went out and read another story. This time, I read chapter 1 of Lee Very's book, The Yellow Tooth Adventure. Then I put Davy and Ginny to bed and we went to sleep. 4 hours to Angel Cloud 3, and I took the command chair. There came the voice of Kate.
Captain, we have another glow on a collision course with us. About 20 minutes to intersect.
Now hear this, this is the captain. We have another glow on an intercept course. We have been through a lot, and we have not lost our cool. There will be a countdown, as before. Remember who you are and who we are, and our mission. That is all. I called Kate and asked for a countdown, and she agreed. Kate's voice came over the comm.
10 minutes. 9 minutes. 8 minutes. 1 minute. 10 seconds. 9. 8. 3. 1.
And we were again engulfed by a colored glow. This one was bright white. Suddenly I had a voice in my head.
David, you know you can't win. Continue course and your ship will be destroyed. Stop, quittez, give up, surrender.
I looked around. Every crewman seemed to be experiencing the same thing. Joel said,
Ship wide! This is the first officer. People, the voice is speaking nonsense. This ship and this crew have never failed in doing their duty. Our captain has never lost a crewman. Have faith in the USS Constitution and our captain.
The crew visibly straightened up. Grim expressions on their faces. Concentrating intensely on the mission and their part in it. Then we were attacked by a dozen huge ships, shields up and weapons hot. I ordered, shields, weapons hot. Then, turning to the helm, I asked, Steele, have you ever hugged the donkey? She replied,
No, sir. But I watched your wife, and I believe I can hug the donkey.
I ordered, do it now. Weapons, TT torpedoes broad spread. Fire. Reload and fire. While Lieutenant Steele hugged the donkey, what seemed to be the enemy's command ship. The ships of the fleet began to be destroyed in firestorms. The comm sounded.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen. Before me was an indescribable entity.
Captain Stevens, oui surrender. Your tactique hardware debut effective.
I told the thing to vanish before I launched a salvo at his ship and those others that remained. O'Reilly, how is our load of torpedoes? He replied,
Captain, I'm charging 20 now, and we have 5 on standby.
Commodore O'Reilly, you're a miracle man. Next time I see Admiral Halloran, I'm going to kiss him for putting you on the Constitution. I could kiss you, but guys don't do that, do they? I heard a huge belly laugh.
I love this old ship.
That evening, I told Stella how well Lieutenant Steele had hugged the donkey. She was pleased and asked me to pass on her praise. She seemed more tired than usual, and I asked how she felt. She smiled at me and began to cry.
David, I'm so sorry. I have begun to look forward to the end. It doesn't scare me anymore, but I love you, Ginny, and Davy so much that I hate to leave. I don't think it will be too much longer. When I go, will you marry again?
My heart was breaking. No. I just can't go through this ever again. Davy, Ginny, and I will take care of each other. For the first time that I can remember since I woke at this time, I cried. I cried great, gasping sobs of grief and impending doom. She wrapped her arms around Davy, Ginny, and me.
I love you, David, and you, my son and little girl. You three make me so happy.
Then my dear wife fell asleep. I took the kids out and closed her door. Davy looked at me.
Daddy, is Mommy going away?
I hugged my little man and replied, yes, son. She's going to be with Jesus. Davy just started to cry.
I will miss her.
I know, son. So will I. Dr. M. Tao came to see her and found that she had passed.
I'm so sorry, Captain.
He directed 2 of his nurses to tend to her body. He asked,
Captain, do you wish to inform the crew or shall I?
I'll do it. Thanks, Jean, I appreciate it. I went to the bridge and asked for ship-wide. This is the captain. Lieutenant Commander Stella Stevens left our company to join her creator at 1647 this evening. Her graduation ceremony will be in 3 days, 1647 in the shuttle bay. All off-duty personnel are invited. Joel put his hand on my shoulder.
Captain, is there anything we can do for you and the kids?
I stood quietly for a moment. Joel, this is the first crewman we have ever lost. No, there's nothing anyone can do. I'm going to take a few days to be with my children. You have the con. We have come this far. I want that cure. Joel snapped to attention.
Aye, Captain.
Joel drove on to Angel Cloud 3, contacted the planet's inhabitants, and asked about the cure for pancreatic cancer. Negotiation quickly broke down because of the conditions the planetary official put on the Constitution for obtaining the cure. After 10 days of haggling and negotiations, Admiral Yellowtooth arrived and joined with the Constitution in attempting to obtain the cure. Finally, I had enough. I teleported down to the planet's governmental body. I laid down my promise, you immoral, dishonorable, unethical, perverted reprobates, you had better allow us to have the cure, or I will turn your planet into a radioactive cinder. Your games and immorality allowed my helmsman, my wife, mother of my son and daughter to die. I have no problem blasting you all to hell. You will turn over the formula for the cure, and you will do it now. And don't think you can fool me because I will turn the formula over to the best medical minds in the United System, and they will attempt to use it on volunteers with the disease. And if it's fake, you die. And I know everything I need to know about your glowing tests. I will return,